Hey, Facebook. My name is Steve Sanson. I'm president of Veterans in Politics International. And if you guys know anything about our group or what we do, we educate the public on candidates running for elected seats. Doesn't matter if it's Republican, Democrat, Libertarian, IAP, or just nonpartisan. We just find out different things about candidates, and we educate the public on them. Good, bad, or indifferent. And me personally, I don't like going after veterans. It's not my thing. I mean, we're veterans in politics. But does that mean that we should not report items when a veteran is clearly not the right choice for a particular seat? Should we stay mute? Should we just push it under the carpet? If we do that, then we're just as bad as everybody else. And you can call us corrupt as well, because we're not willing to let the public know everything about a candidate. And what I want to report is something that's very difficult, but it has to be reported. And it takes a veteran to uncover a veteran. It takes a veteran to expose a veteran. Because if somebody is just civilian that never served and they report items against a veteran, people might say, hey, that's a veteran hater or whatever. This guy didn't serve, this gal didn't serve. So what do they know? Let me tell you a little bit about my military background. I did join the Marine Corps in 1985. I came out of the Marine Corps in 1991, right after the first Gulf War. Came back to Garrison, Camp Pendleton in March 91, and I left the Marine Corps in September of 91. In 1992, around January, I think it was, I joined the Army, and I came out of the Army after being active and inactive and ready reserve and reserve. I came out of the Army in 98. And I served in the first Gulf War, and because of my injuries in the first Gulf War, I am a disabled vet. So I did approximately 12 years in the military. I'm proud of it. I want to talk to you about Sam Brown, Army vet, West Point graduate, disabled vet. And I'm not taking anything away from Sam Brown. I want to add to it. I would like for you guys out there, gals out there, to question what's going on with Sam Brown. And I'm going to give you some information that might help you question Sam Brown. Now, how did Sam Brown receive his injuries? Many people would ask that question. And you'll get the Sam Brown answer. But I encourage all of you to do your homework and find out for yourself. Now, Veterans in Politics receives a lot of information about a lot of people. We receive it by mail, email, U.S. mail, text, voice, phone, any communication you could think of. Veterans in Politics receives information. And a lot of the information we receive Some 100% accurate. Some you have to do a little homework to find out the accuracy of the information. Because some of the information received is audio, video as well. And you can't really lie about audio and video. But what I want to talk to you about is Sam Brown. Now, while he was in Afghanistan, Brown was guarding turbines in Afghanistan for a hydroelectric dam. And over the radio, Brown recognized the voice of his West Point graduate buddy, requesting for help. And, Brown took off to help his buddy. That was a very noble thing to do. I mean, anybody would want to do that, being in the military and being in a hostile area and a combative area. Anybody would want to go out and help their fellow comrade, soldier, Marine, whatever. I mean, it's the right thing to do. It's the noble thing to do. But what happened? Brown took off to help his buddy, but Brown was not properly relieved of his duty. And because he wasn't properly relieved of his duty, he violated the Uniform Code of Military Justice, which is the UCMJ. And everybody in the military knows what the UCMJ is. He left his post without being properly relieved, and that's a violation. Brown also went in an area that was not cleared of IEDs, which is explosive ordnance, a violation of his first general order. Because of Brown's order to go help his buddy, Brown's driver was killed, and his name is Sergeant Kevin Johansson. A couple of years after his driver was killed with the IED, Brown's driver's mother, Mrs. Johansson, 2 years later died of a broken heart because of her son that passed away in Afghanistan. Now, Brown would portray himself to you as a leader. As a leader. Now, anybody that did any time in the military knows that it takes a lot to be a leader. But let me give you about, let me tell you a little bit about Brown's credentials. He did 4 years as West Point. He's a West Point graduate. And that's something to look upon. I mean, being a West Point graduate. But Brown did 2 months in combat before he violated his orders. So he was only in theater for 2 months before he was hit with an IED. It's also reported that while Brown was at Fort Hood, Brown had a scandal with a female. And people might just, turn away from that and say, what's the big deal? But it happened. And these are reason why I'm bringing these items up, folks. We need to question these items. I mean, this guy's running for United States Senator. It's encompass on us to find out about these candidates. Brown was on active duty for less than 1 year, came out of Afghanistan as a first lieutenant, and was promoted to a captain from his hospital bed. Never served as captain in any military unit. Now, he portrays, he's a captain, and when you hear captain, I mean, when I hear captain, I automatically think leader, think somebody that's going to uphold the Uniform Code of Military Justice, the general orders, serve and maneuver troops. But Brown never had an opportunity to be a captain in that capacity. He just received captain from his hospital bed. Now, these are all things that was reported to us. And I'm putting it out there. I'm putting it out there for many, many reasons. For you, the voting public, to ask those hard, difficult questions. For veterans out there, before you embrace this guy, ask those questions. Get into it. Get into it. I mean, come on. 4 years at West Point, 2 months in combat. Does that make Brown a leader? Brown was not, if Brown was not burned severely, he would have been prosecuted for violating the Uniform Code of Military Justice. Brown escaped prosecution for having his driver killed and destruction of military property. Now, Veterans in Politics has put forth a Freedom of Information Act to get Brown's military records and Brown's officer's evaluation report. And these items are important because we need to know what type of person Brown is. Now, when Brown ran for the 2014 Texas House of Representatives, Brown had the backing of former President George Bush, T-Bone Pickens, very wealthy donor, and an NFL player, Roger Staubach. Brown's backing fled. Now, with backing like that, you would think that this guy's a shoo-in. Why would they flee? But they did. Brown was run out of Texas and now carpetbagged in Nevada to become our United States Senator. I mean, does anybody find out and ask why Brown left Texas? Someplace Brown said he'll never leave. He said that it will take the act of God for him to leave Texas. I would like to know, I'm sure you'd like to know, what act of God took place that would cause Brown to flee Texas and head here to the great state of Nevada. We were told that Brown was recruited from his hospital bed to be involved in politics because he has the burns and he was in Afghanistan. Does anybody really pay attention to how long Brown was actually in the military? That's significant. If you haven't noticed, Brown has no real life experience at 39 years old. Hardly has any military experience. Brown constantly violated the Uniform Code of Military Justice by wearing his military uniform in political ads. I mean, go on his page. You'll see him in the uniform. It's against the Uniform Code of Military Justice. In fact, Veterans in Politics filed an ethics complaint against Brown. So, we're doing something. Brown constantly talks about his burns. He constantly talks about the burns he sustained by violating orders and hitting the IED. But does Brown talk about what he's going to do as a senator for the United States representing the great state of Nevada? Does he talk about anything he's going to do for the great state of Nevada as a senator? I mean, I haven't heard anything. Have you? The only thing I'm hearing all the time when Brown gets up on stage is him being a victim, him sustained burns. And granted, it's tragic. It's tragic. But is that enough to be a United States Senator? Should we just vote on sympathy? Or should we vote on qualifications and a strong leader? Being at West Point for 4 years and 2 months in combat, is that enough to call yourself a leader? Is it? I am sure that there are many people out there with great resume in the military, great resume as a civilian in their community, and has a better resume than Sam Brown. What's Sam Brown credentials? I got hit by an IED while serving in Afghanistan. But what he doesn't tell you is that he failed and he didn't follow orders. He was not properly relieved of his duty to go and rescue his buddy. He was not properly relieved. And that's a big thing. You need to be properly relieved. You can't just arbitrarily go do your thing. This is the military, okay? You need orders. Brown likes to play that victim, and he plays on your sympathy, and he does it constantly. Constantly plays on people's sympathy to get that vote, to get that donor. Is that something that should be tolerated? Should we have candidates come and do a sympathy call and we go ahead and vote for them? Or are we looking for candidates with true leadership, candidates that have true values, candidates that are actually Nevadans? I mean, isn't this the state that we're electing candidates to represent? Nevada? I mean, Nevada, do you want the truth, or do you want to continue to live the Sam Brown lie? I mean, it's up to you. I'm telling you this as a veteran, as a Nevadan, somebody that's been in the trenches in Nevada for a very long time, getting candidates elected, getting candidates not elected. I just want you guys out there to understand what's going on with these candidates. Because Sam Brown is just looking for a job. He wants a job. You think he really wants to serve Nevada? I mean, he made quotes saying that it'll take the act of God to get him out of Texas. What is Sam Brown doing in Nevada if he didn't even want to leave Texas? You got to ask yourself something. Why did he leave Texas? Do you think Sam Brown wants you to question him about his burns? About what really took place? How he really got hit with the IED? And how his driver really got killed? Do you think he wants you to ask those questions? You know what? I'm going to put this out there. Okay? Veterans in politics would be willing to pay for a lie detector test. And all we're going to ask is simple questions. Did you violate the Uniform Code of Military Justice just before you ran over the IED that caused your driver to get killed? Were you properly relieved of your duty from that turbine to go and aid a fellow soldier? Were you properly relieved? Did you violate your general orders? What happened in Texas with that female at Fort Hood? Why did you actually leave Texas? These are questions that we need to ask. And veterans in politics, we're saying like this. Hey, don't believe what I'm saying, okay? Don't believe me, okay? Let us pay for a lie detector test and ask these questions. I mean, the United States Senate, that we should know everything about a candidate, shouldn't we? This is the person that's going to get us into war, get us out of war, one of 100 votes in the Senate. This is the person that reports to the president in some fashion because of the votes. This is the person that's going to influence Congress and influence the American people. This is the person. We need to know everything about this person. And if you don't think we need to know about this person, man, you don't really love this country. Because I am so tired of us, voters, putting people in office because of a name, putting people in office because of financial wealth. Don't we owe it to ourselves? Don't we owe it to our children to put the right person in office and vet these candidates? Again, I like to vet Sam Brown. Again, I would like to pay for a lie detector test and ask these questions of Sam Brown. Not just purely, come on, our talk show and talk, I would like a lie detector test. And I like to ask these questions. Because Sam Brown, we're trying to get your military records. And I've gotten a couple military records before. So I put the request in. I'm going to see if I get this one. Brown is a total embarrassment. I mean, the reason why I say this is because listen to the interview Brown did about Ukraine when the interviewer, Stuart Varney, asked him about it. Brown has no clue on foreign policy because he served in Afghanistan and got burned because he violated orders. Does that make him an expert on foreign policy? I think not. Listen to his interview with Stuart Varney. He has no clue on Ukraine. Now, granted, he doesn't have top secret information and all that, but he has no clue. He has no clue on Ukraine. Maybe he wanted to give a political answer, but he has no clue on Ukraine. You know, I believe once we do this lie detector test and we found out that Sam Brown is a fraudster, I think criminal charges should be filed against him. I really do. Because we need to start making examples out of these candidates that run and lie to us, the American people. We really do. We really, really, really do. Because a lot of these candidates put their heart and soul, their time, their family, their money, their everything into running for office and trying to get your vote and try to get your donation and try to get your time. It takes a lot. I'm just tired of these candidates just telling us whatever, selling us a bag of goods, manipulating us, the voters, and we go vote for them based on that manipulation. Look at Mitch McConnell. He endorsed Sam Brown. Who the hell is this Mitch McConnell? He doesn't even live in Nevada. And you got to ask yourself, why would he do something like that? Why would he endorse Sam Brown? Because he wants a puppet. A puppet. That's why. Is that a leader? That's not a leader. That's a puppet. You know. These people, and I'm going to use that word vaguely, these people that defend Brown have something to gain and don't want to recognize the truth. And that's what it is. Anybody out there that defends Sam Brown, that gives money to Sam Brown's campaign, that sponsors, supports Sam Brown, and not ask these questions that I just said, and not look into it, have something to gain. Me, I have nothing to gain. Maybe yes. I just want the best candidate representing this state. I am tired of these candidates that are saying that they're conservative, but they're really not. I am tired of these candidates that come from different states and pop in here for a month, 2 months, a year, 5 years, and all of a sudden want you to vote for them. I am tired of these candidates that don't show up to anything. No central committee meetings, no political organization meetings. They show up to nothing in this state, but they want you to vote for them. I am tired of candidates that run for seats in different congressional districts and don't even live in that congressional district. Although it's not against the law, but I'm just tired of it. Because how do you ask me to vote for you when you can't even vote for yourself? I'm just tired of these recycled candidates that loses races, and then you Nevadans rally behind them. It's pathetic. I want a winner. You know, I want a winner. I want a candidate that's going to make it through the primary and that's going to finish off in the general. I just don't want a candidate that's going to finish in the primary and lose in the general. Nevada, especially Nevada Republicans, aren't you tired of that bull crap? Wake up, man. Wake up. I was going to do an article about this, you know, and just write some stuff on Facebook, but I figured, hey, I'm going to put my face, my voice on this to say, look here, there's more behind the scenes about Sam Brown. Okay? He has scars. And it's sad. And I pray for him. But what does that mean? Is that a reason to be a United States Senator? And did he violate Uniform Code of Military Justice? Was he properly relieved to go aid that West Point graduate buddy of his? Did he violate the general orders? Is he responsible of the death of his driver? Should he be court-martialed for that instead of promoted from his hospital bed? Did he serve with the rank, those 2 bars as captain, on his shoulder and motivate troops? Or did he just get those captain bars while laying in the hospital bed recovering from injuries and had no opportunity to serve as the rank of a captain in the Army? Does that make him a leader? And what is a leader? You know, I am sure many veterans out there did their time and served honorably more than the 2 months combat that Sam Brown did. Years. I've had Vietnam veterans that did 7, 8, 9 tours. You know, I've had Gulf War veterans that were out there. My God, come on. You know, I'm not trying to bash a veteran. And I think that it is my job and my duty to expose, no matter who that candidate is, to expose them. And it's your job and your duty as voters to look into what I'm saying. Look into what I'm saying. Ask those questions. Do your investigation and do your homework. Okay? I'm not saying take what I say as being gospel. I'm saying take what I say and look into it. We need true leaders. We need true warriors. We need people that's going to represent this state. Because I am tired of this state being last in every damn thing. Education, economy. We got a water problem, although they say we don't. I'm just tired of it. We're growing like crazy out there. People see all those cones? We need true leadership in Washington, D.C. What we don't need is a liar. What we don't need is somebody that violates orders. Because if they violate, what would they do as a United States Senator? They'll violate there too. What we don't need is a puppet for Mitch McConnell or for anybody. We need somebody that's going to lead Nevada and represent us, not hide behind scars. This is Steve Sanson with Veterans in Politics. And I hope that each and every one of you do your research and know the true Sam Brown. And why don't you challenge him on questions about Nevada? Challenge him on global stuff. Challenge him on what's going on here in our state. And let's see if he could have the answers instead of always playing the victim role. I'm just tired of that. God bless. And I love this country. And I love this great state of Nevada.